Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Dentist Show. It is Sunday night and it's Social Sundays. Sundays are where we talk about social issues that affect our community. And so I am so glad to have Eric Asante on the show today. But before we speak to him, I want to speak to you guys and see how you guys are doing, how your week has been. It's been a very tough, emotional week, or weekend, should I say. Hi guys, hi. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me see if you are online. I know you guys have been waiting. I can see people saying waiting. Nice to see you. Please make sure that you share your the Facebooks, the YouTubes, do a watch party, because today is going to be a very important topic. We're talking about cancer, and we're talking about cancer in children. It's difficult to talk about it, but I think it's something that we need to talk about as a community. And so we really need to engage, and we need more of you to be on here so that when Eric shares his story, somebody can be inspired, and somebody can know what to do. And also feeling like maybe you're in that situation. Eric has been through it, and he will be here to share his story, his experiences, what he went through. And so please share your page, do a watch party on Facebook, and let's, discuss tonight's topic. Hello, Kwame. Hello, Afrakoma, Mag. Hi, guys. I hope you're well. Anybody else that's on, let me hear from you. Let me see you. Say hi. We are live on ODANA Network, and we are live on Dentist Show on Facebook. But before I delve into the topic, let me say a big thank you to my sponsors and my supporters who are supporting this show. Big thank you to World Remit. You can join over 5.7 million people worldwide sending money back home to Ghana. And so there's a special link that I'm going to put on there. If you are a first-time user, you can get 3 free transfers. Yes. I'll send you the link. I'll put the link in the comments box in a second, and it's your way of sending money to a loved one back home. So make sure that you use World Remit. It's the better way to send money. And again, I want to say a big thank you to Gloria Mills for this wonderful perfume. You can go online and purchase her perfume. It's absolutely amazing. Here's her email. I've got one. There's another one as well here. It smells absolutely amazing. You do not want to order one. Go out there. Let's support young people, and let's all buy one. So go online. This is another one. Her details are below. Go and purchase one. It's really important that we support our own, and the best way to do it is by ordering. Yes. And then I have Prodigy Foods, Cassie's Classics. As I told you, and I keep telling you that her shito is the best. Like, I've gone through about 4 of these in my 2 to 3 weeks. Like, it's just so nice. It tastes like stew. So go out there and buy one. That's the website. You can thank me later, okay? Because I'm actually doing you a favor. And also she has this jollof seasoning. For those of you that love jollof, the seasoning is on point. Go out there. There's the website. Go and buy one and tell me what you think. I actually need you guys to give me some feedback, because I'm actually giving you some really good tips and good food and good things to buy. So make sure that you give me some feedback on that. And then I have Vesta London Beauty. So her lip glaze, which I've got on right now. It's amazing. It's nice. It smells good. Go online and purchase one as well. Okay, let's support black businesses. Let's support our own, and let's champion one another. This is the time that we need to come together and support our own. So make sure that you go out there and purchase these 3 products that I've put out there. So let me go back to the comments section. Let me see what everybody's saying. Darren, oh my God, Darren. Hi, Darren. Is this your first time watching the show? Type back. I want to hear if it's your first time watching the show. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Romeo. Stephanie, Abigail, Ascenso, Romeo. You're watching from Delaware. Romeo, please make sure that you share your screen. Let your loved ones hear about the show. A creative free year Eje, Akuya, please do a watch party with your friends. So tonight we are talking about a father's battle to save his child from cancer. And I've got a good friend of mine who happens to be the father of the child. And he's going to be sharing his story with us today. Obviously, we've all heard about Chadwick this weekend. Very emotional. The fact that, he's been battling with colon cancer for the last 4 years, and he's achieved so much in the last 4 years, and none of us kind of knew what was going on. And so this shows that, look, guys, we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what people are battling with. So it's always good to be nice. It's always good to smile with somebody. Apparently, he put a post of him on Facebook, on Instagram, when he had lost a lot of weight. People were bashing him, saying, why, is he looking so, skinny, and he doesn't look right, and was just bashing him, and not knowing that he was always putting on a brave face for us. And so I think it's really, really important that we learn a lesson from this. Just be nice. Like, we don't know what people are going through, and it's always also important to check up on people. Sometimes, WhatsApp is good, but a phone call to hear the person's voice will probably get more information out of them. So please, if you haven't called somebody in a long time, please pick up the phone today and give them a call. And let's get talking, Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, Gifty says, it is well, my dear friend Eric. May the Lord be your strength. That's really, really nice. So I'm going to bring on Eric now. I've kind of had to strengthen myself for today's show. We wanted to do this show earlier on with Eric, actually, and it was going to be him and his son that was going to be on the show. But yeah, let's talk to Eric. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Jaden.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much, first of all, for coming on tonight's show.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that I know it's been very difficult for you. I've been following your son's journey with you. Obviously, we've been going back and forth with his treatment, when he was recovering, and we thought that everything was okay. And just the journey that you have been able to, the journey that you've been through with your son. And, I just want you to, first of all, how are you feeling now, right this moment?
Thank you for the opportunity as well to share my story and the journey that my son has been on. How I'm feeling. Words can't really describe how I'm feeling at the moment. Just mixed feelings, sad. You got questions in your mind, why this, why that, like you want to question certain things, certain decisions, and they're inevitable. So I'm just taking each day at a time. Yeah. So
do you think that as the days go on, you are getting emotionally more stronger, or are you having more and more questions as the day goes on?
Basically, it's like we're all built in a different way. I have a way of dealing with situations, but with this one, I've never ever thought I'll be losing a son at this time of my life, or being a father to a beautiful son. So it is hard. I'm a very strong person, but it hits me now and then. Yeah. So I just take it.
Did you notice, like, let's start from the beginning. Did you notice that there was something wrong with Jaden? Like, I mean, as he was growing up, did you notice anything? Did anybody say anything to you? What happened?
Well, Jaden is a very happy child. He was born in 2014, in November 21st, 2014. And then growing up, he's very active. He's a loving child. He has this infectious smile. Um, he's not. I've never even been to the hospital or anything regarding him. So it was one time back in 2018. I picked him up from preschool nursery, and like I'm the type of person, I'm very passionate about my son. So I bath him and all that. So we have that kind of bond. So I brought him home, and as I was about to start giving him a bath, I realized on the left ankle it had a bit of like an insect bite, like a little lump. So I called the school and I was like, well, I noticed a lump on his ankle. Like, what's going on? And what they said to me was like, oh, they were playing in the garden, so it
Yeah.
could be an insect bite. It was in summer as well. So I was like, okay. So the next morning, I realized it's gone a bit funny as well. So I called my GP, took him to my GP. Then they gave me antibiotics to give him for 7 days. So as the day
Wow.
goes by, I'm giving him those antibiotics. The leg keeps going bigger and bigger. So I went back to the GP and I was like, look, I'm not going to give him any more antibiotics. I don't think this is antibiotics. Something needs to be done. So they were like, oh, we'll give him additional antibiotics and we'll test for maybe it's blood clot. So I was like, this does not look like blood clot or antibiotics.
Yeah.
So I ignored
Was it
what they
red?
said and I went, pardon?
Was it red? Was it what kind of like? Was it really big? How big was
Yeah,
it?
the ankle started getting bigger and large. It was getting bigger
Wow.
in size. Yeah, from the ankle where the bone is.
Mhm.
So um, I decided I'm going to take him to A&E. So I took
Mhm.
him to A&E, and I was like, even though they also insisted they were going to give me antibiotics, I said no. So I think they decided they wanted to do some blood tests, which I insisted. So we started with the blood sampling and all that, the test and all that. And then they said, okay, they're going to give him some injections for what's it called, blood clot. So they
Mhm.
showed me how to do it. So I was doing it at home. So
Okay.
I was injecting his thigh every evening for 5 days. So still the thing kept persistent. So I called them. I was like, look, I'm not going to give him any blood clots, anti-blood clots. I don't think this is what it is. So
Hmm.
in that event, I realized he had lymph nodes. In Ghana, in account, we say Ejua. So he
Yeah.
had lymph nodes in the left groin. So I told them and they said, okay, bring him over. So I took him to the hospital and they said, okay, we're going to do a biopsy. So
Mhm.
even with that biopsy, I had to wait like 4 weeks. I was fighting consistently every time, and even at times they labeled me as being aggressive, and that. I was like, look, this is the life of a child, and
Yeah.
I don't know why we have to keep waiting and waiting. So the only place they could do the biopsy was in Oxford, in JR, John
Mhm.
Radcliffe. So I took him there when eventually I had a date. They did the biopsy. I went there early no, we went a day before, so I slept there with him. Then early in the morning, like 7 a.m., we did a biopsy. He came back. He had his meal and all that. Then late in the afternoon, I had a phone call from the doctors that we're going to have a meeting. But a day before that, I was reading on symptoms of like um, ankles and in kids getting swollen and that. And I found
Hmm.
out I was reading on something they call rhabdomyosarcoma. Rhabdomyosarcoma. So
Hmm.
then it was a bit strange. So I said to myself, no, I don't think it's what it is. I don't care. So when they called me in the meeting room and the doctor came to me and was like, look, I'm sorry, but it is a tumor. And I was like, what do you mean by tumor? He said it's a tumor. So then she didn't tell me that it was cancerous. Then another doctor came over and said, I'm sorry, but it is cancerous. Your son has got a stage 4 cancer and it's called rhabdomyosarcoma. And I was like, I don't get it. What do you mean? I don't get it. Tell me again. And they said it's got cancer and it's spread everywhere. It's going to his bone marrow, his spine, his glands, basically everywhere. It's a stage 4. So I was like, so what do we do? And they said, okay, we're going to start a chemo. So I sat down with them, went through the chemo. So we did 10 months of chemo. And at times, like when we go for the chemo, I stay there for like 3 to 4 days, depending,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a process. Yeah. So he had more or less, like, it's called vincristine. So it was a very intensive chemo just to get rid of the tumors and the cancer that was in his body. So we started with the chemo. So as we started the first day, I realized that the foot or the leg just gone softer, because it was very tender first before we had this chemo. It was really hard. So it just gone down. So the doctors came the next morning and they told me that with this, well, it tells them that the chemo is reacting very well and he's responding to treatment. So I was like, okay. So we sat down again. They gave me the sentence: he's going to lose his hair, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. So within like a few days, his hair's all gone. So you just flick it like that and it just goes off. So I was like, well, this is what the reality is. There's nothing I can do. So what do I do? So I started praying and he was responding, but it wasn't easy because, like, each day is a different day. With the chemo, your immune system is shattered. Like, you become neutropenic, you can't eat, you get blisters, like so many symptoms, and you get, at times, the long-term symptoms can be fertility and other stuff. So it was very hard because each day wasn't the same. It was very hard because as you wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to be faced with. You can end up in a hospital. He has infection. Like, his whole life, he was restricted from being a normal child to just being indoors to prevent him from getting infections and all that, because he became high risk. So school and all that, you had to pull him out of
That's a
school. So yeah, he didn't have any social life. He was just like, it was sad. Yeah. So
But
we did.
I remember one time when we were talking on WhatsApp, like we thought that he had recovered. Remember, like he was
Yeah.
not having temperatures,
Yeah.
you know, and we thought that, everything was okay.
Yeah.
So at what point did he then go into remission, like going back into,
Yeah. We did 10 months of radiotherapy, chemotherapy. So after the
yeah,
10 months, and in the process of the chemotherapy, you do bone marrow test, and it hurts because, like, taking tissues from the back. And
yeah,
every time I've had to walk in the theater with him when he goes to sleep, then I have to walk out. Even just him dozing off, it breaks my heart. Because I went through it all, so I saw every single stage of it. So I think we did all that. Then for 10 months, then they told me that he was cleared. There's nothing in his system. Everything is cleared. So now we were faced with radiotherapy. But with the radiotherapy, I wasn't too convinced with it because I know it has some symptoms, and it's a long-term symptoms. So what I decided was, I consulted 3 oncologists that deals with children cancer. So they told me that I should get these people to, I should demand for their local guidelines, because on their local guidelines it tells you that kids with Jaden's disease, they don't really necessarily have to go through radiotherapy. So I was fighting this, fighting them, but then they said, oh, you had to take it because they've still got some microscopic cells or whatever they call it. But I was against it from day one. So it happened back in last year. They started a radiotherapy in September, yeah, and it finished in October. So he had 23 cycles, which, even with that, I told him was too much. Because how can you expose a child to these high beams for 23 cycles? Because when I read on it, I knew he'll be having something called lymphedema. Because when
yeah.
you expose the leg or wherever to those kind of beams, the fluids that's going to flow inside your leg is going to be restricted. It's like cutting in between a motorway. No cars going, no cars coming. So
Wow.
back in December again, I was bathing him. Then I saw that his leg is also gone funny again, the same place. So I called him and I was like, look, this is what I've seen. The leg is just going funny again. So they were like, oh, it's post radiotherapy. And I was like, it's not post radiotherapy. This is the exact same thing I saw back in 2018. But they were like, oh, we'll do some tests. They did some tests. No, nothing is coming up. So it was back in January that we did further tests, and they were like, I was right. He's relapsed. So I was like, okay. So what do we do now? So they said, okay, we can try another chemo. It's called VIT. So I was like, okay. They said that one is less intense and it will work. It might not work, whatever. So I was taken into his chemo. That one we're doing it 5 days a week. So I used to go to Oxford Monday to Friday. So we did the first cycle, started the second cycle. So on a Thursday into the second cycle, I took him back to the hospital. Then I realized they checked him, but every time I always check him myself as well, just to be sure. So they were like, oh, we're going to go ahead with the second cycle and finish it for the week. So I was like, okay. So as I was checking him, I saw on his right thigh another lump. So I was like, no, this is looking a bit funny. So I called the doctor and I was like, look, I just found this. And it's like, it's a Friday, everyone is gone, but we're going to try and do a scan. So they did a scan on him. So when they did a scan, they came back to me and was like, they called me in an office again. It was like a conference call with 3 doctors. Then Jaden was just out there playing, and they were like, look, there's nothing much we can do. The thing is spreading again. I said, what do you mean by there's nothing you can do? So I was asking myself, was it right for me to tell them that there was another lump, or I should have just kept it to myself? But at some point they would have found out. But then the chemo could have gone on. But then I know chemo is not the best, but I wanted the best for the boy, So I was left with no choice because I tried other avenues and all that. So basically, they were like, "There's nothing they can do again." So this is it. So I was like, they couldn't support, and at some point they started introducing us to this place. They call them St. Helen House. It's like a hospice. And I knew a friend whose daughter was also going through cancer, and I overheard her talk about the hospice sometimes. So I wasn't too comfortable about it because hospice, what do they do at hospice? That's what I was asking myself. So they kept pushing me, oh, go and visit, go and visit. So I was like, so one morning on a Saturday, they told me to bring Jaden. So I took him there. We did some scans just to confirm that he's relapsed. And it was the case. So we went to the hospice. It's like this building, and it's more or less like it like it's more or less like it's a hospital, but it doesn't look like more or less like a hospital. It makes you feel. That's what they were telling me, that it makes you feel like more calm. But then I wasn't seeing it that way because it's basically like your death warrant telling you that go and die. So at that point, his legs started deteriorating. It was so bad. So it started having wounds, serious wounds, So from the ankle all the way to the groin, it affected the spine, his back, his belly got inflamed. Like the leg was so heavy he couldn't use it. So I had to carry him everywhere. And it took me like 2 to 3 hours to do a dressing. And I don't think any nurse in this world
You were
will
doing it
dedicate.
yourself.
Yeah, to do the dressing. I did everything at home. They brought me all the dressing and everything at home. So I was basically doing every single thing all by myself. So I don't think in this world you get any nurse that will come and sit in your home or a patient for 2 to 3 hours doing a dressing because they wouldn't even do it well. And
No.
the thing that really hurt me most was when his legs started getting worse. These Oxford people, oh, there's nothing. They didn't give me no cream, nothing. So I went back and forth with them. So they referred me to Great Ormond Street. So I went to Great Ormond Street, and there was this lady there, and she said, "Oh, we can give you this. We can give you Otonisan. We can give you Medi honey," because the leg started smelling because it was getting rotten. You see, so it was very tough, and he was in pain as well. So then they were like, they're going to give me morphine, and I was like, "What do you want me to give morphine for?" First, they started with paracetamol, and they said morphine because I know morphine as sometimes as it goes on it wears your heart down, it slows your heart. So I wasn't too comfortable. So if the boy, they said just to keep him comfortable. So initially they were giving him 1.3 mil in the morning, 1.3 mil in the night. So 3 mil the whole day. And the legs started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We praying, we're going to altars. I tried every option, every single thing, to the extent that I even went over to speak to some Spanish companies, some other hospitals and all that, you know. So
was it the reason why you were talking to other people? Was it because you felt like the NHS weren't doing enough, or you just wanted other options for your son?
They were doing great, but at times I felt like they were doing like more or less like a try and error. That's what I felt. Because some of the things, oh, there's nothing we'll try. We are discussing in a meeting and all that. So I used to call them all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're aggressive." I said, "I don't care. You can clasp them as but if you had a child in my position, I think you would do worse than me, you know." But then it's what it is. So we tried everything, but I'm just glad like he fought his race to the end. We fought this.
How was Jaden like in the hospitals, at home? Like, how was he? Was he talking? Was he, asking you questions like, why is this happening? Why is he going back? Was he asking you any questions about his health?
Yeah, he did. Like, Jaden is just a eloquent child, very eloquent. Like, he's very vocal. He says what he feels like, and he at times he used to tell me he didn't like the hospital. Yeah, at times when I tell him we're going to a hospital, but he would do it for me. And maybe with the mom, he tried to resist, you know. But with me, like he was basically he listens to me. He was my everything. So I know how to go about when these kind of stuff we have to go. But he never liked hospitals. He preferred to be at home. And there are times that he would tell me, "Daddy, I can't believe my leg is like this," you know, because I used to do the dressing with him. He saw it, and at times, like, you know, I try to hold myself together, not to break down in front of him, but at times I keep breaking down, and he would just tell me, "Daddy, I want you to be happy, smile," you know. And I always assure him that his leg he will get better, and you know, give him that assurance. But you could see that it wasn't it wasn't improving, nothing. Like it was so tough. It was very tough. Yeah, to see a child go through this pain and um, all that kind of discomfort. Like I don't wish that on any child, you know, or any parent to go through that. It really heartbreaking, very heartbreaking.
Absolutely. Did you, initially when they, told you the diagnosis, did you accept the diagnosis immediately?
I didn't accept it because on the day I think I called my friend Kofi, yeah, and he was based in Essex, so he drove down that same day just to come see us, and I was crying on the phone. And I was like, "Look, I can't believe what I'm hearing. You know, this can't happen. You know, because I was in denial. I didn't want to accept it. Like this is what was happening, but you know, it got to a point like you know, but I had hope. I was very hopeful and very optimistic that he'll pull through, like he'll be fine. Because not that I was looking at anybody's story, but I knew my son could fight, and he's been my hero. And I was encouraged. I knew he was going to pull through, but this last few months, for like 6, 7 months, it's been really hectic. You know,
Do you think
trying
that
to.
the last 6 months were the worst since 2018?
Yeah, last 6 months was the worst because I never saw his leg in this state before. I've never in my life seen any leg like getting so raw. At times you can push my finger, just touch the skin and it's going inside. It affected the shin, the whole leg, everything. It was so bad. Like it came up to his groin. It affected his back, his spine, his the side belly even get inflamed. He couldn't turn. He couldn't do anything. So I had to carry him everywhere. I have to turn him even at night, sleeping beside me. He told me, "Daddy, could you turn me?" Then I'll turn him. So I don't even remember the last time I really had a good sleep, but I knew it was for a good cause. Yeah. So I wasn't really bothered because as a father, I'm very passionate, you know, about my kids and stuff. So I just try as much as possible to be there. Yeah. And I'm glad I was there with him from day one till the day I buried him. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the sickness new to the family? Have you ever heard of that? Did somebody, ever have cancer in your family?
No, with my family, we've never had any history of cancer. There's nobody died of cancer in my family, no one. And I asked the doctors that is this something that could be family trait, and they said even if it's a relative, the distance a bit far, because I did some information, some researches as well. So they don't really know the cause of this rhabdomyosarcoma because it affects the tissue and muscles. They don't know the cause. They don't have a cure. So it's just like chemo, seeing how best you can respond. But like I asked them, I was like, is there been any survivor? The survival rate is whatever, whatever. For like, I was like, but I always told them like, Jaden will pull through. He'll pull through because that's how I felt. I've just been
Yeah.
hopeful all the time. Yeah, trying to see,
Did you feel that your faith was really tested during
yeah, my
this
faith,
period?
yeah, it was really tested. And in this time, like, I really got really close to God. Like, my faith was all over the place, like praying at night, anointing oil. I could pray like I had a prayer groups. Like we start praying from 11. We have some at about 2, 4. So I couldn't even sleep, and every time tired because the dressing alone and taking him, and because he became like immobile. So I have to do everything, take him to the bath, lifting him. He wants to go use the toilet. I have to pick him up and all that. So it was very draining. It was very draining. Yeah, and basically I had to leave business. Yeah, with this kind of it affects everything. Your business, your finances. You become very like your stability is really tested. And it's just it's really a lot to take on. It's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you were diagnosed, did you tell any family members, or did you feel like you don't want anybody to know what was going on? You wanted to handle it yourself?
Well, I told my mom and dad, but and my brother and my sisters. That was it. And I think obviously you, then Kofi, one of my good friends. But before it took time before people, a lot of people didn't know. And
Yeah.
even I think I've had messages people I said, "Oh, we didn't know you're going through this." I kept it. But I think his mom's side too knew about it. But with my side, it was just my family. Even though my aunties or anything. Yeah, I just tried to just deal with it. So a lot of people didn't know about it. So,
Do you think, obviously, we've learned about what Chadwick went through, how he's kept it for 4 years.
yeah.
Is it because you don't want people to know what your child is going through, or is it that you don't want them to know that they have cancer, or is it because you just want to fight the battle with your family alone?
Well, at times with like us, the African, the Black community, sometimes we're a bit funny when it comes to these kind of diseases. You don't feel like you want to share what you're going through because of what someone might think. You know, because at times people can even make comments like, "Oh, because of his body, see what his kid is going through," or So you try to just keep things to yourself, but it's not easy. It's not really easy, trying to keep it because you tell people, okay, you're going through this. It makes them feel in a way like you want them to feel sorry for you, or everyone is different. Yeah, when it comes to dealing with these kinds of stuff, you only tell people you're very confident with, like people you can trust, people you can confide in, and stuff like that. But I don't think I would really want everybody to, like there are so many people that didn't know this. Now they know and they call you, oh, why did you share, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know. I don't think it was right for me, or I felt, didn't say. And even for my son, for instance, losing his hair was a big deal for him. You know, he didn't want to go out. It restricts his privacy. Like there's nothing. His freedom was just. He was more like a prison within himself. He didn't like it when he lost hair. So I had to buy a cap for him. He wants to wear, and you can see from his face like that he's not well because you get so
Yeah.
lean and your color you start getting dark blisters, like and it really broke my heart because he used to complain about his hair. And I remember we visited a family. And the kids didn't know, so they were, "Oh, what happened?" And he felt really embarrassed, and he was telling me, "Daddy, you know, I don't, you know," and I don't know, you know, you try as much as possible, but you know, sometimes it's you can't really change what faith is, like what the reality is. So, yeah.
Yeah. I know you tried everything. I know we tried to get medications from Ghana. We tried everything, even
Yeah,
when the,
yeah,
you know, during the lockdown. I know we
yeah,
managed to get a few in, but
yeah,
you tried everything possible for Jaden.
yeah,
Um, and you spent a lot as well in terms of one, you have to stop working.
yeah.
Two, even
Over two
extra
years.
money.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, over 2 years not working
yeah,
and just
yeah,
being there for your son. And how
yeah.
has it been for you? I mean, have you seen anybody in terms of talking to any doctors about you? Because you've been through a journey as well. And I think that, have you had any therapy? Have you spoken to anyone to kind of also let your feelings out?
Well, I've started counseling recently. When he passed, they offered that to me, but I think during his treatment, they used to, oh, we're there to support and all that. But it affects you. It affects your life because, like, I work, I have business in Ghana. You can't really go and do business. Even if you're working, you can't really work to your full potential. You end up losing money. It affects you psychologically. Like, it drains you, like emotionally, like in all aspects. You know, you're not really yourself. You can't really think right because all that you're thinking, you want your son to be better. You want your child to get better. You know, so business deals. I think even for the last 2 years, I've been to Ghana for only 4 days. That was back in 2019. You know, I went for 4 days. I had to come back because I had to take him for his chemotherapy. So it's like,
Mm,
even if you want to do something, you're being pulled back. You can't really concentrate. You can't focus, and because you can't leave him. And I've always wanted to be by his side throughout this journey. So
mm.
it's just, it's really hard. It's really hard to, you know, it's not everybody that will really be able to handle it, but we all built in our own different ways. So um, it's tough. It's really tough. Yeah. It's not everyone that will be
Well,
fortunate to maybe have a side business somewhere, you know, but
yeah,
it really
you put
tested
it,
me. It
yeah,
has
you,
really
you
tested
had
me
to,
both mentally, emotionally, and psychologically.
yeah,
You
you
know?
had to put everything aside to concentrate. I know that you wouldn't want to miss a day if he had to go to hospital,
Yeah.
um, for him to go alone or with his mom. I know that you wanted to be there for your
Yeah.
son. Why is it you wanted to just do that part and not let your partner do that?
Well, I had like I'm very passionate about Jaden. Like, he was this kid. Like, I share all everything with him, all my decisions. Even if I want to get this car, I go with him. Jaden, what color should we take? He's like, oh, that let's buy the black one. Like, you know, he was like my life, like my everything. So I'm stronger than the mom, and there are things I can handle. There are things
Yeah,
I can go through which he can handle. So I thought, you know, being the father, I would just take go through each and every one of it with him, because even at times when he was taking his morphine, I used to take morphine as well. Even though
wow.
there's nothing wrong. Yeah, I used to take morphine just for him to have that feeling like, you know, like we're in
Like
this
you're
together.
together.
Yeah. I used to do his dressing on his leg at times, even his Hickman lining. I put some on my
Yeah.
arm just for him to feel like we're in this together. So whatever medicine I take it, oh, daddy, I want you to take some, and I took it. You know, no, I wasn't really thinking about any implications, but I want him to feel like I'm in this with him. He's not alone.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. And let's talk about the last few months. Like, how has it been? What happened that he really went downhill? What was happening?
All right. As time went on, his leg really got worse. It really got worse, and I used to change it every 2 days. I had to do a new dressing every 2 days, and basically they were like, "There's nothing they can do." So basically they're telling me you just go and die. So I even had an argument with them, and I was like, the boy has a fundamental human right, and I think exercising it. I feel like you've just left him, you just disown him because there are other kids out there which I've researched on YouTube and other stuff which are going through Jaden's situation, but then they're still being given second chances. So if you just do this and he gets a lump, then you tell me that's it. Then I feel like there's a bit of discrimination. That I went that route with them because I wasn't happy and it didn't turn too well. They didn't like it, and I was like, that's how I feel. I'll just be honest about it. But he got so bad. He was like, I remember at times he would tell me, even his last days, he did have this conversation with me, and I was on the phone with a friend. He was on video call, so she's a nurse as well. So I was doing his dressing, and he was like, "Daddy," and I was like, "Jaden, what's up?" He said, "Daddy, I wish I was older than you, so I'll die for you." And I was like, "What
Oh,
do you mean by that?" And he was like, "Yes, I want to die for you." And I was like, "No, it's not done like that. It's like I'm your dad. I'm going to make sure you grow up and all that. So when I get old, when I die, you bury me. When you get old, you die, your kids will bury you. That's how it's supposed to be." But he insisted. And at times he told me that. I remember one time he told my mom as well. I said, my grandma, my dad has been very kind with me. He does everything for me. And that day really, really broke my heart. Like, I was like, this kid really sees, like, he didn't want to see me sad, basically.
wow.
And he always kept that, you make me happy when I see you smile. And, it's just what it is. It was tough. It was tough, but, you know, so, on the day I was at home with him in my house, and the community nurse came over, and he did his bloods because they used to come and check his bloods to see his blood levels, whether it's
Yeah.
neutropenic or his whatever. Yeah, so it came over, we did that, and they had a little chat. Yeah, and Jaden was like, "Daddy, let her go, let her go." So I was like, "Okay." So even going downstairs, Jaden was like, "Daddy, don't go," and I was like, "I need to go lock the door." So we went down. Then as I was coming up, he shouted. I went up to say and I said, "Daddy, can I have some chicken?" Because I used to buy some jerk chicken he loved. Yeah, so I came, warmed it up, and he was fine watching the cartoons. So as I was going up again, he said, shouting, "Daddy, can you get me some drink?" And I was like, "Okay." So I go down, got the drink. So um, I climbed upstairs and I went, and he was lying in the middle of my bed, on my bed, and he was gone. Yeah, he was dead. So um, I called. I think I called my brother first, 'cause I was so confused because I was crying, and I put him in my arms. So I was like, I told my brother, and I called. I think I was supposed to call 999. I called 101. 'Cause I was so confused. So I called 999, and we started doing the CPR. So I put him on the floor, and I started doing CPR. But then as I blew the air inside, it comes up like the air is not going inside. So then I knew he was gone. Because when I saw him on the bed, he's gone pale. The back of his eyes got green, and um, he was just lifeless. Like, so the ambulance, everyone came. Yeah, I called the mom to also come, and we rushed him. Like, they did everything they could. Then we had about 20, 15, 20 people in my house, like, all trying to do what they have to do. So I drove behind the ambulance. He said, "Do you want to sit?" And I said, "No." So I drove behind the ambulance. We went to the hospital. Then we doing CPR and all that. I stood there with them, and they were like, "Do you still want to carry on?" And I was like, "Yeah, they'll carry on." So when they kept doing it, then they came back to me and was like, "Look, it's not looking likely. It doesn't look good." And I was like, "Okay, you let me go do it." So because CPR, I did that back in when I was serving in the army. So I was doing it with them. Then they were like, "They have to stop. It's not working." So I told them they should give him my boy. So they handed him over. So I carried him, put him around my shoulder. While the doctors, everyone, then I sat in a corner. I said they should just leave me and him alone. So they were like, oh, they're going to do something called cleaning. And I was like, I'll do it myself. Because he was all soaked in blood and because they were trying to get him up. So they were pinching and cutting and all kind of stuff, you know. So I had to clean him and they said they're going to take him to the morgue and there's nothing else they can do. So I was like, okay. So I came home and the next morning, um, just phone calls here and there, and, you know, we had
Did you
to
think?
get him.
Do you think that
Pardon?
Jaden didn't want to let? Did you think that Jaden didn't want you to see him die? That's why he told you to go and get whatever it is that.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so because we were all right. Even that day, I did a video of him that we're dancing to the song. I carried him. Yeah, he liked this song Jerusalem that
Mm.
by is it Master KG? Yeah, so I have videos. I have my phone memories in my phone. All my it's all galleries all full of him. So you know, I think he didn't want me to see him like go through whatever he was going through, but you know, I wanted he was gone. There's nothing else I could have done. So I believe so that he didn't want me to see him struggling, you know. Or he was just lifeless in the middle of my bed, in the center with his arm open and he's looking this way, you know. So I think this is a picture I'll have to deal with it for the rest of my life. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. And what do you miss most about Jaden?
I miss everything. The long drives, the footballs, the chit chats. He tells me everything, and he always told me he loved me, and I'm his hero. And like he was like my life, my whole life revolved around him. He was my everything, and I could basically I could die for him. And that's
Yeah.
like how close we were. Yeah, because I've lost a lot. You know, I don't think like they say time heals, but I know this time won't because of the I love him so much. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, but I don't know how I'm gonna put up the pieces and move on because I did say to a friend of mine that if I lose him, I'll never be the same again. So yeah,
How was the burial? I mean, I've put the picture up of your daughter, right? That's your daughter.
yeah.
And
Yeah. The burial went all right. I think we had to move him from the hospital to what's it called? To the funeral home because of the COVID-19 and all that. He had to stay in the funeral home for like 4 weeks, you know,
wow.
and with the 4 weeks, it wasn't the best. Like, you know, you can see the difference. Like, it was drastic. It was changing drastically, you know. But they did well. But so I think on the day of the burial, I decided I wanted to put some the songs that he loved. But I've never done a funeral. This is my first time, but you know, I thought he would love that. So I did that. And I think the day of the burial, the day before, I told them, can I carry his coffin? And they declined the offer. But on the day when I got there, they said, yeah, you can carry it. So that I was proud. Like, I was happy they made me carry his coffin because that was something I wanted to do because that meant a lot to me. And I have my own reasons for doing that. Yeah. Even though it was tough, it wasn't easy. But the thing I don't regret is every single day when he was in the funeral home, I went there to sit with him. And
I know.
that's the thing. Yeah, every single day I went there 4 weeks straight. Yeah. So,
But I'm sure now you must believe that he's in a better place. You know, he's been through so much pain, and you felt the pain. You saw him crying. You saw him, in so much pain that you felt his pain. Do you believe now that he is in a better place?
yeah, as the Bible says, as we Christians, that's what we believe in. But at times I ask questions, why does it have to happen to me? Why do I have to like I remember a friend called me and said, it's God who gives and God who takes. I wasn't too pleased with that because I was like, so why has he not taken yours? I know it's a way of consoling people, but I took it a bit offensive. Yeah, and people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a and all that," because what you telling me is not making me feel better. You don't know what I'm going through. So I said to him, I was like, if you don't have anything to say, just mute. Don't say much. Because I might take it wrong on the wrong foot. Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, I take consolation in the Word of God, and I know He'll always be with me, even though He's not physically here with me. I know He'll always be with me, and He'll be my guardian angel. Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And how has your daughter been? Not seeing Jaden. What has been her? What has she been saying? Has she
Well,
been asking her brother?
well, she's still ill, but I think she's been playing with its toys, and he go get his shoes, trainers, and other stuff, and he mentions his name every time. Where's Jaden? Where's Jaden? So he's in heaven. And the other day, I think there was my cousin was in the house, and I nipped out to buy something. So when I came back, and I saw in the living room say, um, um, "Daddy," she was looking at a picture, and he said, "Daddy, Jaden loves you. Jaden loves you." You know,
Oh,
and at her age, and she said,
how old is she? She's like three.
"Yeah, she'll be 3 in March." Yeah, so
Yeah.
she little.
So
Yeah,
for her to say
but
that, that's very powerful.
yeah, yeah. So I've been to the grave with her 3 times. Yeah, and she just looks at it.
She
Sometimes
doesn't.
I miss Jaden. Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah.
So, what is the biggest lesson this experience has taught you?
Well, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me not to take life for granted. Just to value everything and life. Yeah, and I just wish like it. I don't want it to happen to anybody because it's the worst experience. And if there was a cure, I think it would save a lot of lives. But it's only God that knows why you have to go through this. At times, I take it on a positive that maybe He came to my life for a purpose. Um, Through Jaden, I've met certain individuals, some great people. I never ever thought like I would even have the chance to meet them. So for them to even call me and all that is something I really appreciate. And I think there's a reason why he came, and he just left so soon. But in life, sometimes people come into our life for a short time, but we are human beings. We might not understand, but maybe there was a reason that only God knows. But and then I pray that he's at a better place, and I know one way or the other he'll make his way back to me.
Absolutely. What word do you have for anyone out there currently fighting cancer?
Wow. What I'll say is you just have to just have hope. Yeah. Maybe I wasn't lucky. Jaden wasn't lucky, but that doesn't mean everybody that has cancer is gonna die or anything like that. But you just have to have hope, have faith, you know, and just know that you can pull through, even though sometimes the obstacles, the highs and the downs, it's not easy. And like I said, we all built in a way. Everyone's built in a different way. I might be able to handle it in my own special way. Someone might not even be able to handle it like from where it started till now. So you always have to pray, and I think we should seek support. Yeah, from from family, friends, and we should try not to shy away from it, but rather to let people and educate people about it because it's real.
Yeah, yeah. And what
Yeah.
would you say about the stigma, like for a community that just hounds on things being spiritual, and maybe it was something that you did, that's why your child is facing this. And what are your words to our community about
Well, I
situations in
think,
which sometimes we
yeah, I think I remember when Jaden got diagnosed. I was praying with these pastors, and you know, everybody says there's different things, and I didn't want to follow what they were saying because maybe I could have been in jail by now. Because of certain things they tell me, oh, it could, this black mentality, spiritual thing, and this and that. But I think we have to educate people about that kind of stigma being oh, it's because of his bodies or this and that, and just help each other because a lot of people didn't know I was going through this, and I could be walking there. Maybe
Mm,
there are times I wasn't myself. I felt so down, but somebody might see or look down on you, but at the end they don't know what you're going through, you know.
mm.
And I think we can educate people, educate ourselves, and just come together as one and help each other. So I think that would do us a lot of good and more harm. Yeah. So
And what do you think about Chadwick's story? Did it bring back memories of your son? How did it make you feel?
yeah, I was a big fan of his movies, and I think recently I and Jaden watched one movie on Netflix. I think it was in a war zone, or I can't remember the title. And me and him have video. We used to do Wakanda, Wakanda, and all that. And you know, I never thought this guy was going through this. For me, the day I saw it posted on Instagram, and I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it because he didn't. I didn't see any sign. Like I didn't know this guy was going through for 4 years, and like it just brings back memories of Jaden. Even Jaden, he fought this for just over 2 years, a bit,
Mm,
But in a crazy world, it's so unfair how or why people go through this. And these kind of diseases, you don't know the cause. We don't know how you're gonna get it. Like people, even sometimes people do smoke heavily, but they don't get any cancer and stuff. You don't do nothing, and you just get it. So it is a funny world, but my heart goes out to his family and the kids, because he's a great example, and he's a hero to each and every individual as well, not just the black community, but with the numbers that they made with the Black Panther and making it so popular figure. So yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. Yeah, it is sad.
do you find yourself sometimes wanting to close the door to everybody and just wanting to be by yourself? Are you going through a lot of different emotions at the moment?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes people keep calling me. I don't feel like talking to people. And, I see calls all the time. It's not like I don't see it. I see it, but I don't want to talk to people. Like I've distanced myself a bit because I live here by myself, and even though this is the house he died in, he died in my bed.
Yeah.
I don't even remember last time I slept in my bed since he died. Like most time in the
Wow.
living room or the other rooms, But I go there. Every time I get to my bedroom, that picture comes right in my mind, and I see the way he died, and it's something I'll have to deal with it for the rest of my life. But at times you just don't feel like mingling with people. I've had offers from people calling or call and talk anytime you want, which is nice of people to show that kind of love and support. But at times you just want to do your own thing. And I've had people knock on my door because I have a camera so I can see them. And my car is parked there. I just don't want to open. I just want to be left alone. But I know it's not the best, but sometimes that's how you feel. Maybe as time goes on, or as maybe this might change, but I know it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, but I've had some people, like good people, like for instance like Nana Kwame calling me consistently, Kofi, and some other friends, loved ones, you know, so just to check on me. And
Mm.
I'm very grateful. Yeah, I'm very grateful. But, you know, it's what it is.
Oh, gosh. All you can hold on to is the beautiful memories that you had with Jaden. I think
Yeah,
those are the things that you can stand on and, watch those videos of you guys dancing and,
yeah,
the happy memories. I think that's what you need to hold on to. Those are the beautiful moments that you had with your son.
yeah, yeah. I've got lots of videos, and I look at them, I watch them, and I think was it about 2 days ago? A friend of mine, I think he came here, and I went to the grave with him. And he was like, "Man, you got to stop watching this, you know." And he said to me, "It's like you have to get rid of his clothes and all that." I was like, "Look, those mentality, those old-fashioned mentality, it doesn't work with me. You know, this is a son of mine. I did
Mm.
no wrong." So even the day before we buried him, I was insisting that they bring his coffin to my house just for the night. Then the next
Wow.
morning we can leave it. But they didn't. Yeah, I wanted that. You know, I just wanted to spend that time, that last time with him. Even though I used to visit him whilst he was in the funeral home, but then they have a time limit, so I have to leave. And when I'm leaving, it becomes very difficult because I'm thinking he's left at a place he doesn't know anybody. Everybody's like a stranger. He needs me. So that's how I was feeling all the time. So the guy used to tell me that, oh, he greets him every morning and evening, but you know, it's not going to change anything, you know. So I was like, you know, so he did give me that privilege to visit him often, and I think I was grateful for that. But I know it's hard. It's hard to see your boy in a coffin and dressed up, which I've never in my life. I've seen it on videos and funerals, like, but I've never witnessed a dead body like me and that person, just me and that person in a room, you know. And this happens to be my son. So
Mm.
yeah, it was. I used to touch his face, kiss him, and all that. You know, every time I went there, I used to speak to him like we're having a conversation. And you know,
Mm.
even though he can't hear me, I knew he could hear me, and I felt like his spirit was there. Yeah, but,
So did you see him changing a lot at the funeral home?
yeah, he changed drastically. He changed drastically. I don't know it because initially I would have buried him maybe a week after, but because of the COVID, like they were doing one burial per one burial per the graveyard, yeah, the crematorium, one burial, yeah, per person a day. So the earliest day they could give me was the 14th of August, and I even pleaded that can they bring it forward. They said there's nothing they can do because of the COVID. So I was left with no option but just to keep him there. But even with a family home, he wasn't in the freezer. He was in like a cool room temperature, but I think it was about 2 to 3 degrees. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's where it was. So the days that it was very hot, when they bring him, you see his face sweating and all that, you know.
Wow.
But I think when they brought him up, I think on the Monday or about a week, I took his suit to them, then they dressed him up. So because they didn't want to be moving him up and down, they wanted him to be at peace. And I gave him some toys and did some bangles with my name and his name, and I gave it to him. And yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult because it's something I will live with it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I have to deal with
I
it.
think the counseling is very important, Eric, that you continue
Yeah,
with the counseling. And it will give you strength. And then don't stop praying. I know that you're very prayerful. You've become
yeah,
more spiritual now as well. But like you said, his spirit is going to be with you all the time.
yeah,
Like you haven't really lost Jaden. You've lost the physical side, but the spiritual side of Jaden
yeah,
is always going to be with you.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
what I can say.
huh? Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely.
mm,
And how many times are you going? How many times is the counseling going on for?
well,
How often?
because of the COVID, I've been there 3 times, but the rest has been done remotely on the
Okay.
laptop to Microsoft. Yeah, but I don't know if things might change. I don't know, but well, when I started, well, to me, it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's too early. I'm not seeing
Mm,
the benefits of it. because all that they let you do is just to vent out your frustration. What like, and like I'm venting out so many things because with Jaden, I was not just dealing with his illness. I was dealing with social services, court, legal stuff. Which is all draining. So it's like your mind is all over the place. So it's not just one thing. So they constantly you go there and you just have to, vent out. Sometimes I feel like I'm saying things over and over and over, and I'm getting bored of it. But they said, oh, that's how it is, blah blah blah. But I'm doing it anyway to see where it goes and
No,
what comes out
continue
of
with it.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you just mentioned a very important thing. So, as your child was ill in hospital, you were getting letters from social services, from different school, saying what? What were they saying?
Well, with social service, like for instance, with my son's radiotherapy, um, didn't want the radiotherapy to go on, but then they were making me feel like I don't want his well-being, like I don't want the best for him, and I was like, why wouldn't you put your child through that? Do you know the implications of radiotherapy? So I think sometimes the system is just it's not favorable. And like for me, I would just fight to the end. And I said to my son, I was like, I keep fighting for you now, and even if you're gone, I'm going to still fighting for you. Because that's why I used to tell him all the time. Because I'm that type of father. I'm very passionate about my kids. Very, very passionate. I'll do anything for them. And if they're not being put first, then if I have to go through whoever, I'll go through that. So it's a lot. We've been through a lot together. Me and him. It's been a lot, and
And you have
it's
so strong. I don't know
yeah.
where you got the strength from, Eric, but I mean, sometimes when you told me, when I got the message and I was reading our messages, I was just like, this guy has just been so strong, like so strong for your son, like there each and every time. So God bless you for that, for being there for your son. I know that you wouldn't want to be anywhere else but with your son.
Thank
And I know there's a lot of people that are sending you some messages. We'll go through the messages quickly. If you have any message for Eric at this time, please do send your message and I'll read it out to him. But I feel like I'm so inspired that he has been able to come and discuss this. It's not every African or every Ghanaian that will come and share their story about their son. And so we must take note that we need to discuss these issues. There could be somebody out there that is facing the same issue as Eric. And be strong like Eric. Be bold like Eric. He fought for his son, even at the hospitals. He read up, he Googled, he was anything that they said to him, he wouldn't even just take everything. I know that at one point you went to 3 different doctors to get an opinion about what is right for your son. So Christy, if we can go through some of the messages that we have or any questions that you may have for Eric. This is the time that we'll do it before we wrap up. Let's go through that. Can you see the messages?
Yeah, I can.
think, I don't know whether Chrissy, is that the last of it? It's tough. So what happens from here, Eric? What are your plans?
I'm just looking ahead just to pick up the pieces and just put myself together, build my business, and just move on with my life. But I'm just hoping, like, if I can, with my experience, help other fathers, other parents, other families that's been through it, you know. But like I said, I take consolation in the Word of God. So I know it's not going to be easy. It won't be now, but it will take time. But I know the time will be now. So I think that's what I've got to say. Yeah.
You know, what Romeo has just put on here, you inspire me to be the best man I can be for my children. I think that is just so beautiful. I don't think I've experienced a guy so passionate about his children. And for me, you are the best dad ever. And I know that, you know, Jaden appreciates you so much for that. I know people are saying here that they want to help. I know that you've dealt with everything yourself. Do you need any financial help? Like, how are you getting back to normal? Is there something that we can also help you with?
Well, I think I spoke to Nana Kwame, Cheddar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think back in June I started supplying him with is it #1 Oxford Street, and we've had some conversations as well going forward. So I think we had a call yesterday. Yeah, so I'm just taking it day as it comes. Yeah, I know I'll get there eventually.
Let's talk about your business, because you never know. People might watch and hear, might actually need some of the stuff that you're making in Ghana. So let's talk about you briefly, about what you do.
Yeah, I have a detergent business called Seashore. Yeah, we manufacture over 235 products, and it's made here in the UK in Walthamstow. But it was back in 2016 I decided to do something in Ghana. So currently, it's in the market, both retail, wholesale. Um, it's in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and other places as well. Yeah.
So people go online. Can you people order online?
No, we don't do online purchases. No. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more or less like in the supermarket, the shops.
Yeah.
So you can get some in China Mall, Kumasi, Accra, Barcelona Total, some Total and Shell shops, Boku Trading. We supply Golden Tulip, #1 Oxford Street, and we starting some other few ones as well. Yeah. So, but initially, we wanted to do other stuff, but because of my son's illness, I had to just let go certain things. Yeah, and I eased off a bit. Yeah, the momentum I was going, I had to just let it go and just let people to control whatever. But if God gives me the strength, yeah, then I think we'll carry on. Yeah, but we're still doing it. Yeah, but not as it was before. Yeah, because I had to feed on the income that was coming on it, because the situation here, being hospital, not being able to work fully and all that. So yeah. So.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to see how best we can support you here in Ghana with the business. So anybody that has a hotel or restaurant or whatever in Ghana, you can, have some of these products at your place. So I will share Eric's email. And if you do want to buy in bulk, because it's mainly sold in bulk, you can, purchase that as well. But again, I think we'll just go through the last. I know people are messaging me. Can you read my message to him? Chrissy, if you can go through the last batch of people that have sent him a message that we can share on the screen. God bless you, Eric, for everything. I hope that you find strength to carry on and, still be as strong as you were for your son. That now is the time for you to even be stronger so that you can pull through, and like I said, just remember the good things and remember that it is good to talk, to air out your feelings. Even with this show that we're doing, it's something that needed to be done. You needed to speak out and about your journey, about everything that you've been through. And hopefully somebody somewhere will find strength from what you have said and what you did. So I'm just like really emotional right now. And you really and truly are a hero. You are a hero. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I know that a lot of people are saying that they've gotten emotional as well. But I think it was good that we did this. And somebody somewhere will be uplifted and will also fight the battle, just as you fought for your son.
Thank you. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah. Guys, it's been tough. Very emotional show today. But I know that Eric will definitely pull through. Thank you for all your prayers, all the love that you've shown him on tonight's show. I think it will definitely encourage him and make him stronger. And he knows that God is watching him. He knows that his son is watching him. And we just need to pray for him. Like I said in the beginning, guys, you don't know what people are going through. Nobody would have known that Eric was going through this for the last 2 years with his son. Be kind. Be kind. Be thoughtful. Sometimes just because maybe you might have even said hello to Eric and he didn't mind you and you're just thinking, oh, he's ignoring me, blah, 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 blah. Now you hear the story. Now, what do you think about maybe what you said? Let's all be kind. A lot of people are going through a lot of things. And sometimes they don't want to share and they don't have to share. So remember that this thing that's happened to him can happen to any of us. Any of us. Keep praying for Eric and his family. I'm going to go now, guys. I didn't want to break down on tonight's show, so I am going to go, and I hope that you will spread the message out to people. And I will see you on Thursday. Good night. God bless.